Today's video is literally one of my #1 requested videos every year when a Samsung device is released, and that is the first 10 things you should do to be able to get this device to give you the best experience possible. We're talking from setup, we're talking from customizations, even with Dragon Ball things. Literally the #1 question I get on the channel is how do I get these wallpapers? How do I set them up? We're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about the AI functionalities brought in with One UI 6.1. How do we customize them? And if we want to just make sure that everything runs on device, how do we do that? This is TK, and this is the first 10 things you should do to your Galaxy S24, S24 Plus, and even the S24 Ultra. Let's check it out. First and foremost, I will say this. The S24 Ultra does come in a box. Unfortunately, there is no charger in the box. If you want to be able to get the best charging experience for that 5000 milliampere battery here, and this will also work on the Plus, you do need to pick up a separate charger directly from Samsung. It's going to be the 45-watt charger. It is sold separately. But out of the box, you pretty much get just the device, and you obviously get the instruction manual and, of course, the USB-C to C cable to be able to data transfer your content or even charge it from your PC. The device that I have here is the titanium in purple. There's a few colors available on the market. This one by far I feel like it's the one that kind of looks depending on how the light hits it. Like you can get it right there here. It kind of almost looks like it's gray, but then depending on the angle of where the light hits it, it actually looks a little bit more and even richer purple with the light hitting it. The configuration that we are looking here, obviously the specifications, all of that stuff, obviously we already know, but we're going to be focusing today on the first 10 things you should do once you get your device to get the best experience from there. Top of the fact that obviously protection and all of that stuff from glass protector in cases, those are separate videos, of course. So first thing I will probably say is out of the box, you definitely want to be able to turn it on, set it up. But if you're coming from, let's say a device, let's say another Samsung device, a OnePlus device, even an iPhone, there is a functionality in here called Smart Switch. And one of the things I'll say about this that I don't say about any other transfer tool on the market, Smart Switch by default, transferring content from one Samsung to another or from other devices to Samsung is going to be the best way to get your content on here. You can use a PC version or you can do just directly connection. Now, since this is the device technically that I'm setting up, I'm going to go ahead and say receive data. Again, you can configure it from Android, Galaxy or Android, or even an iPhone or an iPad, and it will transfer data. Once you select your device, you can transfer data either using cable or wireless. It will do the transfer for you. If you do wired, it's going to provide power to the device as well. But if you do end up using the wireless solution, it'll take a little bit longer, but no worry about basically charging. You can keep both devices charged and not have to worry about using the USB-C port on the bottom. This will transfer basically most of the information that you have on your device between Google accounts, even transferring them and logging into them. So if you had like multiple ones, it'll transfer them. It'll transfer your messages, your call contact, as well as images and settings from your old device to the new one. And this is one of the things I love about that because I actually transfer my content straight from an S23 Ultra. So here, this is my S23 Ultra. You'll notice it's the same wallpaper. It transferred not only my wallpaper on the lock screen, but it also transferred the wallpaper on the home screen. So when I open it up, it looks absolutely the same. Now I am using a custom launcher that is something a little bit different. You're more than welcome to use the standard One UI launcher 6.1, but for me in Nova, once I have all the data transfer from my old device to the new one, I basically just restore the same theme or the same setup I have from my old device to the new one, and everything sits exactly the way I need it, and it works the way I want it. I can use my gestures, I can swipe down, I can even do this, the hold to search. That's the new functionality here, circle to search, and all the things will work the way you are intended to be. And of course, all the AI functionalities are built in. The dialer is built in here. I do use messages. I'm using basically the Samsung one. I'm not using the one from Google. Now, one thing you'll notice on the bottom here, I have a little bit of a redundancy in applications, but the dialer stays the same and the camera stays the same from Samsung. Here, we're using the messages from Samsung here to be able to use some of the new functionalities, as well as the fact that we're using the Gallery app also to use some of the new AI setup. Overall, very easy, very simple. Once you transfer your data, everything is going to pretty much just transfer and run the way you had it on your old device. If you're coming from an iOS device, obviously there's going to be some compatibilities. You definitely want to go directly to the Google Play Store and download the apps that are installed or meant for your Android device. The second thing that we're probably going to do here that most devices and actually most Samsung devices still to this day do this. You go directly into the settings tab and you need to go down directly into display. And the reason why we go into display, I'll go ahead and bring it in. By default, the device comes with light mode. You can turn on dark mode the way you want it. I personally have dark mode. That's how I like it. Motion smoothness, by default, it's set to be adaptive, not standard. Adaptive will take you basically from almost 1 hertz all the way up to 120. And that's something you can configure. But the one thing that actually to this day is still something that Samsung does is out of the box, even with the Ultra side, they don't actually set it up to be at QHD+. Meaning out of the box, all three S24 series devices are set to be at the same resolution of Full HD+. So go ahead and configure it there and say apply. Once you do that, you'll notice that the UI kind of shrinks a little bit. You have a little bit more information available there. You can keep it under adaptive if you want to be able to do that. That's going to be more of your standard configuration for the refresh rate. But otherwise, that's going to give you the best configuration. Now, if we scroll down a little bit down, we also have the ability of turning on Edge Panel. That's the little shortcut option that we have in here. And this is going to be a nice little side launcher that you're able to access directly from your system. So you can turn that on, keep it over there. If you want to switch over from navigation buttons to navigation bar, this is going to be also the same configuration. And also this is the setting where you'll be able to turn on the touch sensitivity for when you install a glass protector like I have on my device. So you turn that on, accidental touch, you can also turn that on in there if you want. But last but not least here, this allows it to actually have a higher sensitivity or touch sensitivity for when you're using the device, especially with any kind of protector, be it a glass or a UV film. GoodLock is an app that is not installed by default on your Samsung devices, and you do need to download it directly from the Galaxy App Store. It is an app that is built in. You download GoodLock from there, and then there's modules that you're able to download and install and use on your device. These will enhance the functionalities of your device. I'm talking about routines, nice catch for notification, Edge Touch to be able to reduce those functionalities, Notistar for notification configuration options, and then of course Nice Shot to be able to customize screen recording, Sound Assistant enables us to actually have a better configuration for sound options. Let's go ahead and go back in here, and that enables us to actually customize our sound bar or sound option here to be able to configure it more under settings. And then this is something you do need to install and activate. Camera Assistant also in here, you can turn on different options, the different customization settings that you have that are not part of the standard UI element. The last thing, of course, is you'll probably notice right there, I'm using a nice little custom launcher to be able to change the pointer on the mouse, and that's included with Pantastic, and we'll talk about that. HomeUp is actually a very nice app that allows us to change a couple of things. One of them is the task changer. You notice by default when I do recent, I actually don't have the standard Android customization here. You can actually change it to be mini mode. I can just make it smaller side. I can also turn it on and say center current running app, and of course app panel, search bar, customization recommended app, switch previous app by just swiping through, grid list, and of course vertical list. You can customize them, and this just basically becomes a nice little setup that you have. Pick whichever one you pick, and what I really like about it is it actually works with any launcher. Either be it the One UI, or if you're using this, let's say something like me with Nova Prime. It works great and it runs really nice on your device. And to provide us just that nice little way of interacting with our device, a slightly different customization. Again, the most recent apps that we launched, you can jump into them, and of course from there swipe home. Now let's talk a little bit more about One UI and some of the customizations that we have in here. If we swipe down here, go directly into settings, swipe down to the bottom and go to advanced features. We have obviously the ability of customizing the AI or the advanced intelligence that we have in here. Bixby options as well to be able to customize that. Out of the box, the power button, if you press and hold it, is not a power button. It technically takes you straight into Bixby. You can customize that, change it to be a power button, and of course opening up the camera as if you don't want to stick to the Bixby configuration. There's a section here for the Samsung Labs S Pen options in here. Side button configuration is what we were doing. Multi-window, motions and gestures, one-handed mode, screenshot mode, screenshot and screen recording, show contacts when sharing, phone call, video effects, video brightness, and then dual messenger in case you want to be able to install multiple versions. Let's say you have 2 WhatsApp accounts that you want to install. This will allow you to actually separate them and create 2 different apps for you straight in there. Now, obviously, there's a lot more options that you can go in there. Check out, obviously, notification, sound and vibration, battery, wallpapers and style, themes, lock screen. Some of the options as well that we get in here in the notification panel is the ability of turning on the interpreter as a toggle, and that's built in there as well. You can turn those on, configure them, and run them the way you want. Hotspot, different options that you have in here. The new UI customizations that we have. Your home automation functions are decided to be under the device control. And one of the new options that you have in here within One UI 6.1, and this will be rolling out to most Android devices, is that Nearby Share is now incorporated within Quick Share, which is a built-in functionality to allow us to share to other Samsung devices as well as nearby devices with nearby functionality. So out of the box, this is going to be the new UI Quick Share functionality, and this is going to be something that you just need to be aware of as far as how that you'll be able to share content from it. Otherwise, we have the nice little option under the information here. It gives us a nice recommendation for AI functionality, erase reflection, and of course remaster. Those are standard ones that we've had before, but there are a lot more options available now when we want to be able to do some AI functionalities. Let's say I want to go in here and I'll go ahead and say, I'll actually edit the app. This is again in the standard default gallery application. I'm going to go stylize. I'm going to say generate. I'll give it a second. I'm going to actually turn a little bit over here, and now we're going to use generative AI. So this is going to generate a background for us here to fill in the extra space that I added around the image itself. And this should be pretty natural and pretty decent as to the experience we should expect AI to function on device. Now, unfortunately, this is online based as it's pulling internet information in here. But as you notice right there, it filled it in. It gave me somewhat of a good perspective of what it should be. And of course, I can actually just discard, go back to the image. And there's going to be a lot of really nice AI functionalities built in, from the dialer, from the editing option here, even the voice recorder that enables us to not only basically listen to conversation, customize different things, but also the ability of summarizing different options in here. You can definitely customize everything that you have in there. And of course, just change, translate, copy the information, put it into notes. A lot of more options available directly within One UI 6.1. Very nice and very helpful. The next thing we're going to talk about is how do I customize the live wallpaper on my device? It's typically, for the most part, a video. So I basically do internet searches. I go on different services and so on that I find videos that are designed to be 9:16 format because it has to fit the length of the actual video that we have in here. For the most part, once I have that downloaded, it'll be directly on my device. And of course, I can say set as wallpaper. You can set it for your lock screen or call background, and that's going to be one of the nice options in here. Not only can we customize it for our lock screen, which is typical to what we see when we lock our device. This is the one that I'm using here. Again, very much a similar experience, but we can also customize it to be a call lock screen, which means when somebody calls me, my phone dialer, when it shows up on the display, it will have this nice live wallpaper, and you can customize it to your callers. So it's really nice and very nice setup. I'll provide you a little bit more information. Again, there's this one. This is Beast Gohan going on. It's pretty much just videos. And then once you set it up and you customize it, this is the one that I'm currently using for my call wallpaper, and it works really nice. Very simple and very easy. You can't set it up as your wallpaper for your home screen. This one needs to be more of a static image, but it definitely provides us a nice customization option. And of course, it's very simple. If you find something, let's say on Instagram or any kind of social media that does the 9:16, you can screen record it, save it to your gallery. Of course, make sure that it sits within 10 seconds, and of course, assign it to your lock screen or to your callers. Now we're going to talk about the AI functionalities, or the artificial intelligence as we have them on the device. If we go under advanced features, you'll notice there's one that says advanced intelligence, or AI, artificial intelligence. But this is basically Samsung's configuration. These are the options that I talked to you guys about in the beginning. We have phone option. This is the ability of turning on voice translation during calls. We have Samsung keyboard that enables us to actually write in different styles, and of course also provide us customization in grammar and basically corrective actions into the text so that it sends out very nice one. The interpreter function, that's the one that we have available here directly from the notification. You can turn that on. And one of the things I'll say, make sure it's actually very nice because it uses two separate UI where it splits the display. And now obviously the microphones on the top are to the person facing this way, and the microphones on the bottom are facing me. And then the text is translated live. As I'm talking, it'll translate to the next language, and it'll translate back as the other person stops. Very nice and very simple. The voice recorder, we talked about that, recognizing different speakers, the ability of summarizing, translating, all those functional options are in there. Samsung Internet as well, the ability of using Circle to summarize different web pages and so on, built in, and you can just go in there, turn it on or turn it off, and you can customize the option. Wallpaper view and scrolling, pretty much, again, what we've seen in the past. And when we go in this here, let's go ahead and go back into it. When we go into the actual photo editor, this is where the extra options that we talked about before. The ability of moving the subject and actually filling in the background, typically mostly available only on Pixel devices, is now available. You do need to turn that on. And this is where it becomes a little bit of functional options between on-device AI and internet-connected AI. And Samsung provides us the ability of turning off the internet part of this in case when you're traveling. So processing data on device only, meaning we'll use the 8 Gen 3 to be able to provide us that experience. Now, when you turn this on, some options are disabled. First, any kind of generative information in the photo editor are out the door because obviously they need internet information. And anything that requires us to do this, which is circle to search, is definitely going to go ahead and go out the door because, again, it is an experience that requires internet connectivity. You can disable it if you want to. If you don't disable it, you'll have the full experience that we get. But otherwise, you'll get somewhat of a slightly limited experience, and at least you'll know that everything is on device, and you don't have to worry about your internet package when you're traveling. Definitely a good way to save data when you're traveling if you love using these features. But I will say this, by far, my favorite has to be the circle to search. Something like this, where I'm actually able to search the background. We can find different images similar to the ones for Goku, and you can definitely see here the wallpaper in there, and it works just absolutely fantastic on any app. You never leave the app because it actually runs on this over the app. It kind of draws over it to give you that experience. Otherwise, it's pretty much a standard experience. You can either tap, circle, and it gets you there. Now, I talked to you guys before when we were looking into the live wallpaper. If you go into the dialer under call settings, you go to background call, you're able to customize the information here. Again, you can change the background call or you assign it directly from your gallery. Again, I'm using Beast Gohan as this one. You could use the one that you want. It's pretty much the same file that you're using to be able to customize the lock screen video. You're going to actually just apply it to the calls, which makes it very, very nice. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is something that you probably noticed that I'm using, but you probably didn't realize that I have on my device. Let's go ahead and move this one here. We're going to open up this app. Now, this is something that you probably didn't have on your Samsung device when you first open it. And I'm talking about specifically something that enables me to actually use this. You notice right there, I actually have a nice little mouse. I can actually use an entire display to be able to customize the experience. And now this allows me to actually use my device as one-handed. I can actually reach the top left side of my phone or the right side here, and I can just go ahead and close it. And when I'm done with it, I can actually just reduce it, bring out the mouse, and close it. It works really nice. It is very good. It's called One-Hand Operation Plus. There's also some functional options in here. You can do this. This is for a more recent app. This one takes us back, but it gives me access to more toggles at the top, and I'm actually able to customize them. Last but not least, of course, I can just swipe down to the left, and that gives me to take home. And if I want to be able to switch over to the last app, swiping halfway does that. Swiping halfway does the same thing. Very nice. It is a module built in directly into here with good luck. You go under Life Up. It's called One-Handed Operation Plus. It is also available on the Google Play Store as a separate application. It is made by Samsung, called One-Hand Operations Plus. Install it, customize it, and you can see here all the different options that I have in there. One of my favorite options is the ability of swiping up. Let's get out this one. And that enables me to bring in that nice little mouse functionality. Again, built in, very nice and very intuitive, and it works great within Good Lock. Now, before we leave with Good Lock, let's go ahead and jump over real quick to Makeup, and that's going to be the first one. Pentastic is by far the best way to customize our pens. Now, this will work on your phone, the S24 Ultra, or even your tablet, or even on the foldables from Samsung. You can change the way the menu is right now. You notice right there, this is the menu as it stands right now. I can swipe over here, go more of a classic way. This is retro. This is how it used to be with the first generation notes. And of course, as we saw here with the circle function. And one of my favorite features is the ability of customizing my logo or a custom image for the pointer. You can change the default sound here. You can do all of those, but otherwise just pick whatever image you want, customize it, and now your cursor for your device will match whatever style that you want. And of course, you can change the different design here. Let's go ahead and go to circle. And then I'm just going to say use. And then every time I click the little gesture here, it opens it up in the circle section. If I want to go back to the default one, let's go ahead and select it. We'll say use. And you'll notice it opens it up the way it's supposed to be. Good Lock by far is one of the most powerful module installation program that Samsung released. It is available directly within the Galaxy Store, and you make sure to install this as one of your first apps. Now, on top of Good Lock, Samsung does have some customizations built in. If you go under the advanced features that we were talking about before, there's a tab here that says Labs. Now, this is the Samsung Labs. By default, this is installed, but not activated. You can turn it on so that you can have every app go into multi-window. This is the function option of splitting the window and running there. Dark mode for apps that are not supported, you can turn that on. Photo ambient wallpaper, you can customize those and you can activate them. This is built in, this is already installed. You just need to go in there and customize that. It's right next to the S Pen and the Smart Suggestion at the top, as well as Bixby and of course the AI or the advanced intelligence that we have on our S24 series. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the ability of getting better battery performance out of our device. We are running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, by far one of the most powerful processors on the market right now. But one thing to say, obviously, is it does consume a lot of power. We have a 5,000 milliamp battery. If you're turning on all the bells and whistles, obviously going into QHD and going in 120 frames per second, it's going to drain a lot of battery. So there's a couple of options we can go. So if we go directly under device care, we go in there, you'll notice there's a few options for battery, amount of storage used, amount of RAM used, and of course app protection. There's a performance profile built into this. This used to be under the battery section. If you click this, out of the box, the device is set to be standard, meaning it governs or manages itself to be able to give you the best performance. Now, I argue to say that the 8 Gen 3 is way more powerful than the things that we need to do. And if you know you're not doing anything demanding and you're just doing web browsing, watching content online, and doing things that are generally not very intensive, meaning power-hungry applications, I recommend you jumping into the light mode. It throttles the experience a little bit, but it provides you better battery life and, of course, provides you the ability of having longer performance on this device since you're not pushing it to its limit. And if you you do want to be able to do that, you can jump back into the standard mode and that gets it in there. The other option I will probably say is, and I think this is Samsung's doing out of the box right away, is keep the adaptive display here on under dark mode here. You can keep that in there to lower the resolution. Of course, motion smoothness, keep it under adaptive. And of course, at this point, I probably recommend you going full HD or even HD plus to save battery as well. You lose a little bit of resolution. It's still beautiful though for the most part, but you'll have better battery life there as well. So those are a little bit of tips there in case you want to be able to get a longer battery life out of your device. Now, the last little tip here that I'll give you guys in this video is going to be under accessibility, under, of course, advanced features or advanced settings, and that's going to be the flash notification. This is something that's very nice in case you're more of a visual person, you don't wear a wearable or anything like that, and you want your device to flash whenever you get a new notification. I can turn this on and it'll actually turn on the flash. So basically, you'll see here, right there, you'll see that the flash is turning on. And of course, one of the other things that we can also do is make the display brightener, or basically flash. I can customize it to be more of a blue color. I'll go ahead and say preview, and you'll notice right there, if the device is sitting on the table, it'll flash the display a little bit with a blue color. If it's sitting on a table, of course, facing up, the LED here that we have on the dual tone LED on the back will start flashing, providing us a notification that a new message came in. Very nice and very simple. It's under accessibility. There's of course a lot more content coming in for the S24 series with customizations and tips, but this is going to be literally one of the few things you could do to get the best experience right at the start. A lot of the things that I share with you guys regarding AI should be coming to the S23 series of devices in the second half of 2024. What that means essentially is Samsung has promised that these features will come down as One UI 6.1 starts rolling out. Most other devices other than the obviously the S24 series is running One UI 6.0 when they upgrade to Android 14. So what I will say is this: these features are absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of things you could do to customize your device, but at its core, the things that I shared with you guys today, although maybe a little bit over 10, will make it so that you're enjoying your device to its fullest out of the box. GoodLock by far is one of the most recommended applications I will always say to download and install. It is directly available from the Galaxy Store that's on your device. It's preloaded to your device, it's just not downloaded. And of course, you have the Labs section if you want to be able to access all applications in the screen, in the multi-window functionality. But at the end of the day, if you even want to come down to the point where you want to customize the pointer on your phone, on your actual S Pen for your phone, this is going to work really, really good. My hope is that you find these features helpful and that it makes your life a little bit easier. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.